Here we go. Now I have this private page that is totally empty, and I have the txt file. So let me just get all of this text, and I'm just gonna put it here. Now, one of the challenges is like, how do we find parts of this where we could like break things? Because what we want to do ultimately is to get it into a format that is more like this one. So as you can see, I have this wall of text, like part 2. This was like the wall of text. And what I did is I separated it into like a small, like one first chunk, then building do macros, second chunk. Then there was click macros. So what I did is I had the presentation on the left, and I was going through like, okay, let me find some keywords. So let's do that again. I'm gonna go into my untitled documents. So this is going to be part 4, wall text. Okay. That thing is, I don't even remember what we like how we did things there. Let me see. Make. Okay, so now I'm trying to look for a part where we switch to, I don't know, maybe make.com, but that was a lot of conversation there. Okay, now go back. You can look for words like, okay, now go back. I have it selected sheet name. Okay, so sheets. Let's look for sheet. So now I have, okay, this is the part where we were talking about like spreadsheets. So I'm gonna go into this part. This is probably, like you can see, this is where we started talking about spreadsheets. So I'm just skimming through the text. Everybody seems right. So these are like keywords. This was like signing up. So now I know that this is like one part. I need to share my screen again. Yeah, I was getting sweaty here. Okay, so I'm gonna make a break. This is for me to, you know, easily navigate through this text, because I want to first use ChatGPT to make this into something useful. Spreadsheets. Let's do another finding again. So sheet. So this is where we talked about spreadsheets, and now this ends here. This is about the topic. What I wanted to do is I just wanted to kind of save time, because if I put in a prompt that is like 27,000 tokens right into ChatGPT, it's gonna take forever to find these things. So what I know is like, especially when it's like a more structured part, like a lecture where I had like a presentation, like this is now the longest I spent finding some breaking point. So when I had like the presentation, and I know we were talking about the macros or whatever, I could do that a lot faster. So let me get back here. So I just want to find a break, like where the end is. Okay, got it now. Both green stuff done. Now this is where we got into like GPT. Okay, here it says, so we are going to add another module. So this is now going to be the OpenAI module. So I'm assuming, without reading the text, I'm assuming that in the first part, hold on, turn into thing. So I'm assuming that in this part, we had some text about like the sheets. So I'm gonna go into ChatGPT. I'm gonna make a new chat. This is a long transcript of a part of a meeting. Give me a bullet point summary on what we discussed here. You can see that this is already in and of itself a really long text, and especially with the earlier models, like now OpenAI says that now everybody has 128,000 tokens, but still it's a lot better to work with shorter parts, because what I want to do is I want to ask ChatGPT to write me like a book article. There's like a nonfiction educational book article on this entire thing, and then I'm going to put that into the knowledge base. Here's a bullet point summary of the discussed content in the meeting. Introduction, showing operations. Okay, write a long, I say very long, ginormous book chapter. No, I'm gonna say nonfiction, because if I don't say nonfiction educational book, it's going to write about dragons and Smurfs, and that's not what I want. Okay, write a very long, ginormous nonfiction educational book chapter about the information in this chat. So now it's writing the comprehensive digital workflow, and while it's doing this thing, I'm gonna create I'm gonna create a subpage here in my Notion, and I'm gonna make it part part 4, make.com basics, I guess. Make.com bots, actually. That's what we were doing. My brain is not braining. Chapter 1, section 1.1, understanding the basics. That's not what was said. Oh, it's just doing, oh, it's still at the beginning of it. No, it went totally sideways. It's like real world application case studies. Now I'm just gonna pause it. It's not gonna torture itself. Okay, so my prompt here was not really good. I'm gonna just get rid of this one. So let's write an educational, very long educational article. Let's see if that works better, because what I want now is like some kind of written information on what we did with the Google Sheets. Left click, okay. So that's the kind of like step-by-step directions that should be there. Oh man, cut this crap. In today's digital era, whatever. What I want to do is to make sure that the knowledge that I will put into the model is as short as possible. Okay, now this is pretty much where it's going to start, connecting Google Sheets to Make. And another thing the reason I'm rewriting the entire, and I'm not just putting this in and rewriting things, because as you can see, this transcript says like, and I just got flustered and picked one. So this is a lot more unstructured, and it's like some vague, talking, like I was on the spot, doing things live, and that's not when someone can focus on clearly articulating things. So let's see, I'm going to just copy this because I want to make sure that I'm not losing myself over the details. So now we almost have, let's see, understanding, implementing automation, processes, creating scenarios in Make platform, integration of Google Sheets, OpenAI modules, critical aspect of building an effective scenario, connecting Google Sheets, the process of linking Google Sheets to Make accounts billable. It involves adding a new connection and signing in Google. This connection is fine for special data and automating. The switch between personal and G Suite accounts is also an operational requirements. Okay, well, this is something that I would need to like expand on. So I'm just making this note for myself later. And I think when people are making these GPTs for others, this is going to be like configuring the knowledge base to be in a format that is easily accessible to a GPT is going to be the majority of the work that people do. Does the transcript contain any step-by-step instructions for doing things? Yes, so it says there are some step-by-step instructions. Now it's putting in the triggers, like setting up new triggers in Google Sheets, such as watch new rows. So now we're getting somewhere. And I could just, for the sake of, being on time and making sure we cover everything, this is where you need to think about how do I want to say things? This is the moment where it might be worth to sacrifice a little bit of time to make sure that the quality of this content is top and it's not just some generic ChatGPT written BS. Setting up the Google Sheets model. Yeah, this is where I'm going to put this in. So now we have some information here. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to export this into a PDF, current view, everything, letter, page form, make it A4, export. So now it's exporting this part. And once it's done, I'm going to show you the other parts that I did. So this is like part 4, make.com, Google Sheets. And it's important to name your files properly, because if you don't put in these kinds of instruction and data protections into the instructions themselves, people will be able to see what kind of files you uploaded. So don't give them like random names, just try to be as descriptive as possible, because the knowledge base retains the names of the files. So what I wanted to show you is the other documents that I put in. So for example, for part 1, this is the document that's right now in the Promptmaster tutor. So as I said, foundations of prompt engineering. So then we have the chapter 1, the elements of a prompt, common prompting strategies, leveraging personas, interactive learning and common strategies, chat markup language. This was easier to work with because I had the presentation slides and the transcripts, and it was more educational and lecture-like and not hands-on training. So this way we just shared a lot of knowledge. You can see the non-chat, one-shot prompting here, few-shot prompting, many-shot prompting, deciding on the prompting approach. There is like the exercise that we did, even like the solutions. And then part 3, creating AI personas. As you can see, this is like a pretty long document with a lot of information, and this is what the Promptmaster tutor has access to. So now as you can see now, the part 4 that I created now in like 15 minutes is not as good as this one, but it is good enough for us to demonstrate how to do this.